Dave's Broken Diamond Club, written by Unda New Neon, voice acted by Nerdhilistic. Content warning: this story is rated for audiences teen and up. Contains canon-typical graphic depictions of violence, physical and mental. Chapter 2. Lights, the last thing on your mind. Papper Paper's top pale song of the sweep winner. The last thing on your mind, the last word on your breath. I'll be the one to keep you, I'll keep you at your best. The last thing on your mind, 'cause I don't need your mess. I'll be the one to keep you, one disaster less. You don't see Dave again for a paragraph and a half. Not that you measure your time out by how long it's been since you saw a guy you've met twice. Either way, you don't have to bump into him. He comes right to your hive. Unfortunately for everyone, you're not feeling so hot right now. Your whole place is in a depression mess, and you can't remember when you last slept. Man, fuck insomnia. You're pointing to these mitigating factors as the reason why Dave showing up at your door with a small plant in a pot is enough to confuse you into just staring at him. Hey, should I have buzzed downstairs? Someone left and I just came in the door, but maybe... he starts to say, clearly uncertain. No, you're fine. Why do you have a plant? You ask in bafflement. It's for you, Dave answers cheerfully. You step aside and motion for him to come in. He does so, walking past you with the thing still in his hands. I'm not really the keep plants alive kind of guy, you say, because you're an asshole. God, why are you like this? Well, you'll want to keep this one alive. I have a list of instructions about it from Jaded, Dave says, and sets the plant on the side in its pot and puts a little card on the side. It's not full grown yet, it's too distinctive when it is, I guess, and it's an illegal plant, so I didn't really want to bring it here like that, but the thing is, when it gets flowers on it, you can make a tea from them. Or, not a tea, does it have to be an actual tea plant for that? I don't know. Whatever, it's flowers in boiling water and drink them, he explains, and you scrub at your sleep-crusted eyes, not that you've been able to sleep. Why did you bring me an illegal plant? You yawn. Hey, are you okay? You look pretty rough and everything looks kind of... Dave trails off, looking around at your messy place. Don't worry about it. Why is the plant illegal? You ask again. Right, so the tea or maybe not tea that you make from the flowers can almost completely suppress psionic powers, he says with a smile. And why would I want to do that? You ask. Because at some point, they're going to test your psionics, and if you don't want to be a battery, that's a test you want to fail. But they've got to set it up so you can't just choose not to use them, they make you. I asked someone. But with this, it caps your ability for like a day. As far as they know, you've got enough psionics to maybe bend a spoon and have cool eyes. Then you get to be whatever else you want after that. No more expiration date for you, Dave explains. Wait, you won't have to be a helmsman? There's a way around this? Holy shit, no wonder that plant's illegal. You'd just have to hide your psionics after the test, but you can do that. Okay, a shitty job in Empire tech support isn't great, but it beats being tortured for power. How did you gasp, reaching for the plant and touching its delicate leaves. Well, I owed you from last time. That was some real uncool shit I dragged you into. So I asked another friend about evading the tests, and she said that there used to be a way ages ago. She told me what she knew, and I went and tracked down Jaded, who has the same interest in gardening as Kanaya, which is why they're so close, and between them, we were able to track down some seeds and grow this for me. To give to you, he says, his explanation trailing off at the end. You don't have to be a helmsman. You're not going to get burnt out and die. Dave just bought you a ticket out of that. Whoa, Solix, you're crying. Hey, no, it's okay, Dave says desperately and touches your face. You focus on him finally. He looks so concerned. I don't have to be a helmsman, you whisper, and Dave beams. Nah, man, you don't, Dave agrees. Your legs seem to give out a little in shock, and the two of you slide to the floor against the counter. You hiccup a little as a sob of sheer relief gets tangled with your breathing. Dave's warm thumb rubs over your cheekbones, and movies could really have never prepared you for this. It's okay, man, he whispers to you, and you blink to clear your vision a little and look up at him. Why are you... I don't even know your name, you say hoarsely. What? Yes, you do, Dave says skeptically. Not the whole thing, just your first. And I don't even have you on Trollian, but you still... If that does what your friend says it does, then you just saved my life. Why... Why would you... You stammer out. Hey, no, shh, Dave says softly, his thumbs running over your cheekbones again. That... that was almost a shush. He takes his hands from your face and you miss them immediately, the needy, stupid idiot that you are. A pen falls into his hand from his Silodex, and he grabs your arm and starts to write. I gotta bounce. I need to go home. I haven't been back in forever, Dave says as he writes on your skin. How long is that? You ask quietly. Since you saw me last, Dave answers, pulling his pen back and abandoning it on your floor. What? Isn't your Luthus worried? Or do you not have one? Shit, I'm sorry, you say, tripping over your own words. I have one, sort of. That's actually the thing me and Durka have in common. My Lucis used to be his before he ran away from him. I try to avoid my place as much as possible, Dave explains. From the way the two of you slid down to the floor, he's now sat between your legs facing away a little, enough that your knee is gently pressed against his back. I've never told anyone about him, but technically you've already seen him, Dave adds with a flat laugh that suggests he finds no humor in the situation at all. What? You ask. Wait. That white thing that looked like a mind leech? The one that was stuck on that sea monster? That's your Luthus? You ask in horror. Dave nods ever so slightly. Holy shit. Dave, are you sure you want to go back there? You ask, reaching for him to... You're not sure what. Pap his face, pet his hair, something. Some kind of contact to show him that you care about him and want him to be okay. But before you can get close, he's on his feet on the other side of the room. It's fine, like I said, I gotta go. Sorry, look after the plant, okay? Jaded's deets are on there if you got questions. Okay, bye, Dave says hurriedly, and the front door shuts behind him, leaving you wide-eyed on the floor with no idea what just happened. You look at your arm, and there in black pen reads, Turntech Godhead, Dave Strider. That's his full name. He told you his full name. Didn't Carcat say he didn't do that? You hurriedly add him to your contacts and open a message. Twin Armageddons began trolling Turntech Godhead. Dave? That's me. Oh, it's something to see Aradia's color on your screen again, even though it's not her and just someone else with her blood color. Solix? Dude, are you there? Yeah, sorry, it's nothing. It's just been a while since I've seen Rust's text. Oh, right, Aradia was Rust, wasn't she? Yeah, but it's fine. Thanks for the plant. I'm not sure thanks is enough, but yeah. No sweat. I gotta go, though. I've gotta get through the whole train system, and I might go harass Carcat in person before I head home, so have fun with that. Turntech Godhead ceased trolling Twin Armageddons. You nurture your stupid plant religiously. You set timers for when to water it and keep it in the right light. You look after it better than you look after yourself. You harass Jaded with questions about it, and find out that she's a pretty nice girl, all things considered. But whenever you see it, you think of Dave. You message him sometimes, and he's really hot and cold about whether he answers. Sometimes he'll even play games online with you, if they're the kind his meager, on-the-go husktop can run. You're starting to get the impression that he almost never goes home, that he just drifts from hive to hive seeing his friends, but he has a lot of unaccounted-for time, which makes you think he has friends in separate circles that you don't have contact with. You also figure that sometimes maybe he doesn't answer you because he's going about the kind of crazy shit that he was the second time you met him. You get more confirmation of that than you wanted when you spot him at an illegal market for outlawed tech. You're there for new parts, naturally, and you spot him across the way, his snapped horn and the slender cut of his frame. He looks around, clearly lost, and your pump biscuit stutters so hard it nearly hurts. It physically aches when you see him look past you and then look back with obvious recognition, only to wrench his gaze away and duck his head. He ignored you. Normally you'd take the sting of his rejection and go away with your bruised ego, but actually you don't want to do that, so you cut through the market, past the stalls with illegal chips in them, until you catch him in the crowd again. Dave! You call out after him, but Dave still doesn't look around at you. Properly irked, you shove past a bronze blood and catch Dave by the wrist. Hey, Dave, what gives? You ask, and Dave finally looks around at you, his expression tense. Only, he's not the only one who does. The tall guy in front of him turns, and you recognize the deranged bronze blood from the encounter with the sea monster, the one with the gills implanted into his neck that you can clearly see under his hood. What are you? Durga growls, but Dave cuts in. He was just leaving. He wanted to say hi, and now he's gonna say bye. Right, Solix? Dave says insistently, and you realize that he was probably ignoring you so you wouldn't run into Durka again. That was thoughtful of him. Too bad you're a moron. That's not, Durka starts, but the guy at the stall bursts into hysterics, laughing in the face of a tall girl about Durka's height, who is bundled up in a tight hood and scarf. Durka's attention drops from you and focuses on the interaction going on there. This isn't going to do what you say it will. I know what I'm talking about with tech, the girl snaps. Hey, take it or leave it. The price is the price, the olive sneers at her. I'm not trying to haggle here. I'm saying this totes won't do what you're saying it will, she argues. Dave squeezes your hand with his other hand and gently pushes against your chest. Dude, you should go. You don't want to be here, Dave whispers. You eye the argument behind him and decide that you don't want to leave him here with this escalating situation and Durka there. Come with me then, or tell me what's going on, you whisper back. Whatever Dave was about to say is lost when the guy at the stall finally loses it. Don't condescend to me, you dumb bitch! If you want parts to pimp out your pet, you're gonna get them elsewhere, he snarls at her. Watch your mouth, Durka snaps, his sword suddenly in hand. In reaction to the drawn weapon, the stall owner suddenly pulls out a gun, and you drag Dave closer and throw up a wall of psi around you both that could deflect any bullet. You needn't have bothered, because the girl draws her own rifle, the barrel so long that it presses right into the olive blood's cheek. The movement dislodges her hood, and it slips back with inky black curls falling out of it, and between them, ear fins slide free. Another sea dweller, only it's not just any sea dweller. The color on those fins is straight Tyrian. She is an heiress. I think you owe my Moirail an apology, she says sternly. All around you, sensible people scatter, and though you try to pull Dave away with you, he won't go, so you don't either. She's an heiress? A near-adult heiress? You hiss at Dave, eyeing her height and skin tone. She could challenge the Empress for the throne. Probably die doing so, but she could. She's a good person, Dave insists. Now, tell me what chip here will actually give me proper 180 oscillation for my encrypted output, or else I will start to get very annoyed, mister, she demands. Unfortunately, the olive blood is just answering in babbled pleas for his life. Wait, hold on, you murmur, and lean past Dave to peer at what's on the table, eyeing the chips and boards that are laid out. What are you doing? Don't get involved, Dave urges you, his hand coming up to your side. He's not shoving you away, but you can still feel the hand-shaped warmth radiating through you. If you need exactly 180, nothing here will do that, you blurt out nervously. She pauses and looks right at you, her gaze pinning you in place. Durka, make sure this guy doesn't go nowhere. Dayvhe, who is this? She asks with an intrigued trill, lowering her rifle and walking towards you. Dave twists, jamming his back into your front and stepping you both back slightly. Leave him alone, Roxy. He's just a... Back off, Dave argues, trying to be the barrier between you both. The heiress, you assume her name is Roxy, smiles and shows off razor-sharp fangs in doing so. Dave, you're so cute. I just want to talk to him. You never let us meet your friends. Roxy laughs. Gee, wonder why, Dave snaps at her. He's the one from before that I told you about, Durka says flatly, his sword pointed at the olive blood who's still trembling. Roxy's eyes go wide, and she looks at you again with keen interest. Oh, maybe not a friend then? And you sure seem awfully protective of him, Roxy says, and your digestion sac clenches in a sad little diamondless way. We're friends, you tell her. Although nothing there will really do 180, you say, because you can't just linger on that with Dave right here, and so you go on. If you want that, you ought to use the silicone slice. The ones designed to run hacks would work best, and then link them to one of these. You float a chip over to her off the table, and she takes it, her eyebrows raising in surprise. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, I feel like such a doof. I'm really more of a software gal than hardware, but usually I think I know my stuff, she says, bonking her head with her palm. I told you to switch to apiary systems, Durka grouses, and you realize that this is the guy Dave was most likely talking about before, who also had the same system. They glub and drown, Durka, Roxy exclaims. So build it on land, Durka argues back. OMG, how many times have we... You know what? No, I will take this chip and pay you for it, mister. How much was it? Roxy asks, turning her attention from Durka to the still terrified guy who can't choke out a price. Roxy rolls her eyes and drops triple what the chip is worth on the table. Dave twists around, catches you by the arm, and breaks into a run now that Durka and Roxy are distracted. You stumble along after him, eventually having to fly an inch off the ground because Dave can run far faster than you, it seems. He dodges past buildings, ducks through alleyways. You can't tell where he's headed, not even when he leaps up onto a roof with a blast of sigh that he only just makes. What are we... Are they chasing us? You gasp as Dave parkours off of a roof and onto the next one and then down some ledges. I don't know, but I don't want them to know where we're going, Dave insists and pulls you through some alleyways. And that is? You ask, but you get your answer when Dave sticks his head out of an alley and you see your building. He drags you both over to the doors, and you let both of you in. When he piles into the lift with you, he's breathing a little hard. I thought you said they were cool. Why did we bail then? Also, what the fuck, you know an Aerith? You hiss. They're fine. They're cool, they just meddle. Durka worries about me for reasons you know about, and she's his moirail and always up in everyone's grill about their shit. You don't want her curious about you, she'll pester you about shit forever, Dave says, waving a hand dismissively. The door pings open and you both walk to your front door, and he goes in with you when you open it. Besides, Dave adds from the window as he peers down the street, aren't you friends with one? The girl who played the game with you before most of you left it? Pfeffery? Yeah, but we haven't talked in a long time. You sigh. Another not quadrant in your past, another failure. You look at Dave as he scans the streets. He said you were friends, which is true, but he keeps protecting you. But then you'd protect Karkat if someone was any threat to him, and your affection for him is nothing but platonic. You're just fishing for hope like a dumbass. Well, thanks for your protection from that terrible fate, you say flatly, and he turns to look at you. Dave's mouth opens, but before he can spit anything out, he seems to think better of it and closes it. I should go, he mutters, and leaves before you're able to swallow your pride enough to ask him to stay. You wind up kicking yourself for it when he doesn't answer the next message that you send him. You should have asked him to stay with you, to watch a movie or something. How often do you see him, and you turn down the opportunity because he's mysterious? Twin Armageddons began trolling Carcinogeneticist. Fucking secretive bullshit. Gee, hi, Solix. So nice of you to greet me so sweetly. Oh, shove off, Bulge Licker, you know what I mean. Let me guess. Damn near the only thing you talk about lately, and the mention of secrecy. I'm going to guess you're talking about Dave. He was here the other day being all tight-lipped about things that I swear would have been no problem to talk about or give me some fucking context on, but he just wouldn't, and then he just left and I was too pissed to stop him. Now he's not answering my messages. I did warn you about pushing him. I wasn't trying to. Your screen suddenly flickers, and you tab out of the window to obsessively save all of your work. Yeah, I know he has kind of a hair trigger with that. He'll probably still talk to you if all you did was act kind of pissed. Are you really worrying a lot about this? You seemed reasonably fine about it before. Sorry, I was just saving things. I think we just got a power surge. I'm going to go investigate. Oh, shit. You get up and check on your bees. They're all still fine. You peer out of your window, but there's no power problems happening to other buildings. When you look at the power feed for your machine, it all seems stable. Out of paranoia, you run a virus check, but nothing untoward comes up. Odd. Weird. I can't figure out what caused it. I'm sure that won't bother you forever. You're such an asshole. I don't know why Dave likes you. Wait, did he say that exactly? Who knows? I'm sure that won't bother you forever. Oh, fuck you. You and Karkat trade insults for a while, and eventually he has to excuse himself to go do other shit, and you settle for illegally streaming a movie. You evidently need to update your ad blocker because when you pull up your streaming site, there's a porn ad in the sidebar. Some smutty pale porn with... Oh, wow. It's not Dave, but for a second it looked like him. That same skinny frame, short hair, and curled horns. Only this guy's ones are curled less tightly and go the other way, and the shape of his nose is different. The text reads, "Watch skinny Rusty papped to sleep." The picture animates so that you can see the hand coming in for the pap and the Rustblood's eyes fluttering shut. It's dumb and stupid, and you've never really been into porn anyway, regardless of quadrant. All the same, it's far too easy to imagine Dave there instead, and... You shake your head and spend half an hour updating your ad blocker script before playing the movie uninterrupted. When you eventually sleep hours later, you dream of things having gone differently, where the fight between Roxy and the Olive Blood had escalated, and you got injured in the struggle. You dreamt that the race back to your hive was Dave trying to look after you. He pulls shrapnel from a cut and shushes you through the pain. When you wake up, you still remember feeling wanted, that how even though you don't know everything about him, you had been sure that he cared. It stings, to say the least. You shower and change and sit down at your screen again. It's not flickering now, but something still feels off. You cock your head to listen to your bees. Maybe they're buzzing at a slightly different pitch, or maybe you're just imagining it. You run a sweep for malware, viruses, you clear your cache and history of things, restart, and the bees still sound somewhat off to you. The strain on your bandwidth is all within normal tolerances, but... ugh. You start poking through your files, only to find that ones you know you haven't been in for a while have been recently accessed. Either you're losing your mind, totally possible, or someone is in your machine without you knowing about it. But nothing you look at is turning up any trace of anyone else. You start going through your apiary mainframe, honey dribbles over your fingers as you work, and you make very, very sure never to get it anywhere near your face holes, like some kind of dumbass. Blow a hole in your wall once, shame on Vriska, but blow a hole in your wall twice, shame on you. The closer you look, it seems that they are behaving strangely, working on some function you're not familiar with, and yet, nothing seems to be objectively wrong with them. There's a buzz at your door from the buzzer, and you wipe honey off your hand onto a rag as you walk over there. You open the door with sigh rather than risk touching anything. Dave steps inside right away and clasps a hand over your mouth, and holds a finger up to his own lips. He raises a hand and makes a palm husk shape by his ear and quirks a curious eyebrow at you. Hastily wiping off the last of the honey, you pull your palm husk out, only for Dave to fling it inside your block and then start pulling you through into your tiny laundry room, where he shuts the door behind you both. He presses buttons on the machine until they start making noise and then slumps against the door in relief. "What the fuck?" you demand, hands on your hips. "Sorry, I just needed to talk to you alone. Carcat mentioned you were having computer problems, and I don't think that's it. I wanted to check if I'm right about what it is before everything goes wrong," Dave explains. "What do you mean, goes wrong? What's going wrong?" you ask him. He wraps his arms around himself and looks away, clearly miserable. "Do you ever get involved with someone and you know it's never gonna work, but you really want it to, so you try anyway, and then, shockingly, shit all goes wrong?" he asks in a small voice. You pretty much figure that Dave himself is an example of that for you. Everyone told you to stay away from his diamond, but you can't help who you like. "What happened?" you ask instead of saying that. It's pretty concerning that Dave has just suddenly decided that things between him and Carcat can't go on anymore, especially given Carcat's unique concerns about Dave finding out about his blood color. You were sure Dave wouldn't think anything shitty, but what if you were wrong? "It doesn't matter, I blew it," Dave says miserably. That sounds far more like something he did than anything about Carcat. "Hey, I've known Carcat a long time, and even if he'll flip shit for me saying it, he's really into you. I'm sure you didn't break anything," you assure him. Dave shakes his head sharply and then pushes his glasses up into his hair and presses the heel of his hands into his eyes. "You don't know what you're talking about. I just came here to talk to you about your machine because you're more Carcat's friend than mine, so we're probably never gonna talk again after this," he insists, getting more and more upset. "What? No, that's not how that works. Come on, man," you say. You reach for his face, not to actually pap him, that'd be wrong, but just to hold him close. He's upset. You can't just do nothing. Only, what you actually do is worse. You reach for him just as he pulls his hand away from his eyes and shakes his head, which results in you accidentally poking him in the eye and him yelping in pain. "Oh shit," you say in horror, recoiling away from him. "Good job, dumbass. You just stabbed your crush in the eye." "Ugh," Dave hisses, clapping a hand over one eye and backing up. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to," you say as mortification creeps up your spine. "Ah, fuck. Way to distract me from whining about Carcat. Ugh, that fucking stings," Dave hisses. "I'm the worst. The actual worst," you whine, hiding your face in your hands. You grimace as you realize that your hand is still slightly sticky. Your hand that you just poked Dave in the eye with. "Shit, that burns," he hisses, and dread fills you. "Oh, shit. Let me see your eye. I think I fucked up worse than I thought," you say as you scramble closer to him. "What?" Dave asks and grimaces. There's a pop and a hint of ozone, and the shelf with all of your cleaning products on it tumbles to the floor. "I think I got mind honey in your eye," you say, in muted terror. Dave's psionics are pretty low level, and if you did get mind honey in his eye, it was just a trace from the underside of your claw, so it's unlikely he'd do any serious structural damage, which means your priorities are stopping this from worsening, rather than spiriting him up to the roof for safety. "What?" Dave yelps. "Come on," you insist, and psionically grab him up from the floor and rush out into your nutrition block and flick the tap on. You scrub under your claws and over your hands with a scrub brush and soap as fervently as if you were going in for surgery. "There should be a bottle of water in the cooler. Grab it," you instruct Dave, and no sooner have you said it than the door of the cooler blows open in a flash of red, flinging stuff across the floor. "Fuck, sorry. Ugh, it stings," Dave says through gritted teeth. You whip a clean towel from a drawer as you dry your hands, pulling Dave closer by his shirt. You float the water to you and crack open the top. Dave still has a hand over one eye. "You're gonna smear it in like that and make it worse. I've got to wash it out," you tell him. "What? No, this is dumb," he insists, and yet more stuff around the room skitters about the floor from random pulls of sigh. "Trust me," you plead with him. The moment you say it, you can hear how cliché a pale statement it is, the kind of things you see in Carcat's romance movies or in pale porn before shit gets real. You expect him to shut down or run out of here, but instead he stays there, 2 paces across from you on the cheap linoleum, staring at you with his one uncovered eye. The moment hangs in the air, and you watch him swallow, the movement shifting in his narrow neck. Then he steps closer to you. "What do I..." he says quietly, and you can't find the words, so you just get him in front of the sink and push him gently to bend sideways. "Take your hand away. I'll pour the water. Try to open your eye in it. It'll be weird, but it's safe," you breathe, and steady him with one hand on the back of his neck. You pour the water, slowly and gently as you can, and as close to his eye as you can. He doesn't complain, but his claws screeched on the metal of your sink. It's really weird," Dave gasps a little. "I know, I'm sorry. It was my fault. Stupid. Tried to make you feel better and managed to stab you in the eye and drug you," you curse yourself. "Didn't mean to. Fuck, we're both a mess. I fucked things with Carcat for good, and you did this without meaning to." He laughs hollowly. The last drips of water run out, and Dave scrunches his eyes shut. You help him and pass him a clean towel, which he presses to his face with a grimace. "Look, I don't know what went down, but Carcat is the champion of overreacting. If he said something that made you think it's all over, he's probably regretting it right now," you tell him gently. "It's not that. I know that. It's... we were finally getting somewhere. I mean, you know," he mumbles, looking away with his one good eye, and you watch his cheeks darken. "Oh hey, Carcat finally getting somewhere with Dave, huh? Good for him." "So, what happened?" you ask. "Nothing happened. That's the point. I couldn't... no, I can't do that," Dave says in blatant frustration. "It's not like he's had a problem with you two going slow so far, so what's the problem with not rushing ahead?" you say in bafflement. "No, not like that. I mean, it's not that I don't want to. Fuck, I want to, but I can't. It's complicated," Dave says firmly, in a way that tells you nothing. You're pretty sure that you should drop this now. He's obviously not going to tell you what's really wrong. "Let me see your eye," you say instead. You reach forward and gently take the towel away. A bunch of his hair is damp and stuck to his forehead. I can't see through your eyelid, you point out, and Dave's eyes scrunch up only for him to open them, blinking quickly as he does so. You mean to look at his eye to see if you can see any trace of the honey, only to have that train of thought entirely derailed. His eye is bloodshot, from the honey, you poking it, and the water poured over it, but it's bloodshot not with rust blood, but neon red. Bright streaks of red flare across the orange of his eye, and your breath stutters in your chest. He's a mutant. This is why he acts like he doesn't expect to get off the planet, why he's so secretive, why he helped you get free because he knew how you felt. This is why he doesn't let people too close, why he can't go as far as he wants to with Karkat. But oh, Karkat, if only he knew. That's not a good look. How bad is it? Dave asks worriedly. You crush down the urge to stroke his cheeks, to kiss the delicate bridge of his nose and tell him you'll keep him safe. Instead, you focus on words you can say. It's fine, just bloodshot, you tell him. Dave's eyes widen, and everything that's not nailed down suddenly flies at you both. It's a dumb attack because it'd hurt him as much as you. Thankfully, you're stronger, and you stop everything before it comes anywhere near you. I'll never tell anyone, I swear. I never would. And I know for a fact that Karkat wouldn't have a problem with it either, or tell anyone. Not in a million sweeps, you tell him seriously. I'm a mutant. Why would you say that? You should be trying to cull me for this. Even if you're slightly mutated, you're the good kind. You can survive, but I can't, he shouts at you. But he sounds more hurt and bewildered than he does angry. Like he expected you to try and kill him, and it not going like how he thought is so upsetting that all he can do is complain at you, like you've shortchanged him somehow. You'll survive, you insist. How? Dave scoffs. You found a way for me. There'll be a way, you tell him, and gently pluck his shades off his head and slide them onto his face for him. The whole situation feels like someone blowing a bubblegum bubble bigger and bigger. Your hands hover on either side of his face after replacing his shades there, and even with them on, his expression is emotionally intense. With every second the tension grows and grows. Surely soon it has to burst into something, right? I've never told anyone. Durka found out. He told Roxy, but I've never, he whispers. Technically he didn't tell you, you found out, but here you are anyway. I won't say anything, you promise again, because it feels important. Okay, Dave says hoarsely, and the tension pops and fades away. He's trusting you. Dave looks away and fusses with his damp hair a little, and you take the chance to pick up some of the mess and at least shove it back into the general direction that it belongs in. Dave must feel bad about it because he starts helping too. I didn't come here for all of this. I wanted to warn you about your computer system, Dave says as he just decides to dump your knives in the sink. They've been on the floor, so they need cleaning now anyway, most likely. What do you know about it? You say with a frown. Has it been a little slower, maybe? Files open that you didn't open? Everything look like you've been hacked, but you can't find any trace of it? Dave asks, and you freeze, then nod. It's Durka. He's convinced you're dangerous, that you know too much. And yeah, you might know more than anyone else does, but you still know basically fucking nothing, and he needs to chill his paranoid ass out. He's probably trying to see if you told anyone anything, Dave says despairingly. You bite your tongue on asking if Durka knows that he's not Dave's Moirail, because it doesn't look like he knows that at all. How's he doing it? I looked everywhere I could think of, you ask. It's not often someone outmaneuvers you, but evidently it has happened, and you're not pleased. Roxy is his Moirail, and she has access to the mandatory school feed channel that everything has to have. He sneaks in through there because virus scanners don't, he starts to say. They don't look at it because the whole thing pings at the virus, which it is, so it's the perfect place to hide an actual hack if you can get access. You finish for him. That's not skill, that's just cheating. You snarl and march into your block, throwing the door open and dropping into your chair. You hastily edit a virus scanner to show you everything that's in the official Imperial channel, and there, right there, just where Dave said it would be. You quash the program and jam a virus back through it for good measure. Normally doing that to an Imperial program would be a fast track to getting a drone to blow you up, but as this was illegal, you're pretty sure you're fine. On your screen, a Trollian message pops up from a handle you don't know, but you bet you know just who it's from. Timaeus Testified began trolling Twin Armageddons. Nice virus. Did you code it all by yourself? If I ever catch you in my system again, I'll send you something that I put actual effort into, fucker. I'll remember to be scared. Dave sighs and leans across you. Mind if he asks, and you take your hand off the keyboard. Hey asshole, it's Dave. Knock it off, 'cause I bet Roxy didn't give you permission to do this. Dave, why are you there? I told you to stay away from that guy, and yet he keeps showing up, and now you're there? Leave him alone. I haven't finished going through all of his logs yet, but he talks about you. I could tell you what he says. The back of your neck prickles in fear. You really don't need him reciting about your obvious crush, much less the chat full of Dave's friends who all feel the same. You didn't even want to be in that one, but Durka likely isn't above using it against you. Oh, fuck this, Dave snarls and pulls back. He yanks his palm husk out and starts typing as he paces back and forth. Over-controlling, hyper-paranoid jackass, he mutters. What makes you so convinced that I'd do anything to hurt him? Oh, I've got you back again, have I? Wait, where did Dave go? Oh, Dave, you asshole! Timaeus Testified ceased trolling Twin Armageddons. What did you do? You ask, looking at Dave, who is still typing away. Told on him to Roxy. Apparently she told him not to do this, and he did it anyway, and now his ass is grass. There's a bunch of reasons I don't introduce him to my friends, but this is one of them, Dave grumbles, finally putting his palm husk away. What an asshole, you complain. He's actually not really. He just loves his friends so much it's gross, and he feels responsible for everything with our Lucis, and Durka is very us and them. And if you're not part of his us, then you can basically fuck off and die for all he cares. He needs Roxy to rein him in when it comes to literally everyone, Dave assures you. Sounds pretty asshole-ish to me, you mutter. Huh, maybe. Just keep checking that official channel or whatever and make sure he's not sneaking on you. If he does, just hit me up and I'll get Roxy to smack him, Dave says with a smile, the kind that makes your chest flutter inside. You're offering to protect me from him, huh? You blurt out, and Dave's mouth falls open slightly in surprise, but then he covers it up with that poker face again. I guess. I mean, you're being super cool about not freaking out on the whole mutant thing. Dave shrugs, like he couldn't care less, even though you know he cares very much indeed. I won't tell. And Dave, go back to Karkat. I swear he won't be of any danger to you either, you urge him. Dave doesn't look like he believes you. A lifetime of paranoia would do that to a guy, you suppose. Sweeps ago, you found out about Karkat because you were having a LAN party at his house, and the dumbass hit himself in the face with a frying pan when he was trying to wrestle it off of you, and smacked himself in the sniff node so hard he bled. He bled the same bright mutant red as Dave's eyes. When he saw that you had seen, he just dropped to the ground, exhausted at finally being found out, and expected you to end him. The whole thing was horribly awkward, but you swore not to tell, and you never did. The two of you formed a weird kind of mutant solidarity about it. He's still your best friend, so the least you can do is help him along with the guy he's clearly desperate for, who unknowingly is in exactly the same situation. Not that you can tell Dave that because you swore to Karkat not to tell a soul, so you've got to be underhanded. These dumbasses. I guess if I'm gonna risk death, why not risk it for the ornery jackass that I've been obsessed with forever? Dave sighs. Yes, go, do that, you nod, and shove him towards the front door. He goes along willingly, if a little petulant about it. You open the door and let him out, only for him to linger in the doorframe. Thanks. I mean, for everything. For my eye and not, he mumbles to your feet. It's cool, you tell him. Yeah, it is. Dave nods and shuffles awkwardly in the doorway. He flicks a glance down the hallway to see if anyone else is there, and then floats up slightly. He sinks his claws into your shirt, jerks you forward, and smears an awkward kiss over your cheekbone. Dave drops to the floor and sprints off without a backwards glance, leaving you standing in your doorway, smiling like an idiot. You clear up your messed up hive, still smiling to yourself. You even listen to happy music as you do so. Then, as night turns to day, you scour for any lingering trace of Durka and set up a program to scan for any trace of him using the same system. You load up a really nasty virus, but have the good sense to get it to ask you permission before sending it, just in case your program falsely identifies some Imperial propaganda as Durka and sends a virus that'll get you cold. You're just about ready to go to sleep like the dumbass with the fucked up sleep schedule that you are when someone trolls you. Carcinogeneticist began trolling Twin Armageddons. Oh my fucking god, I will sincerely prostrate myself on the floor before you in worship, you brilliant motherfucker! Ah, so you've seen Dave then? Do you just have this skill for finding mutants or something? How the fuck have you done this twice? Also, how the shit did you convince him to come to me again and trust that I wasn't like most normal people and intent on culling him? I didn't tell him about you, if that's what you're asking. No, see, I worked that out from the look of blind shock on his face after he jammed his hands into my pants and saw what color it came back as. I got a pretty good clue that it was a surprise from that. I want to know what you said to him. Not that I'm ungrateful, because holy shit, you just turned the worst night of my life into the best one. So thanks for that act of frankly insane alchemy. I'm just puzzled is all. I just said that I knew for sure you wouldn't react badly, which is a bit of a stretch given your tendency to flip shit at the slightest provocation. Well, precisely. Hey, don't do that. It's not a burn if you agree. All this time, low self-esteem was the one weakness in your strategy. If only I'd known. Ha ha. It's just curious, is all. That he seems to hold your opinion and word in high regard, but more curious that you're not freaking out about it, given your giant crush. Fucking hell, KK. See if I help you out again if you're gonna be a suspicious, ungrateful fucker. Ha! You're trying to distract me. Alright, not that I don't care about this, but my mate Sprit is hot, and I think I need to go ruin something else sustainable in my hive with him now. At least, I think he's my mate Sprit. We didn't really discuss quadrants or anything. Fuck, I'm not going to think about this. Have fun, you gross weirdo. I'm going to sleep. Oh, I will. Carcinogeneticist ceased trolling Twin Armageddons. Thanks for reading with us. If you want to read ahead, you can find Undanu Neon's work here. If you want to contact the readers, comment below, or email nerdhilistic@gmail.com. And if you make something related to this project, we'd love to feature it, so let us know. Nerdhilistic, taunting the void by celebrating what we love.